What's up, everyone? Today, I'm diving into one of the most explosive moments on national TV, when Ben Shapiro absolutely obliterated Ilhan Omar over her controversial comments about 9/11, terrorism, and America itself. Trust me, this one left even the media scrambling for cover.
Congressman Ilhan Omar and her allies now using a new tactic against Donald Trump and the GOP. So after the president dinged the freshman rep in a tweet over her insensitive comments about 9/11, the freshman rep said that the mere criticism of her was akin to the incitement of violence. The media echo chamber, of course, was quick to highlight her concerns.
Nancy Pelosi is asking the U.S. Capitol Police to conduct a security assessment for Congresswoman Omar. The speaker is one of many Democrats now accusing the president of trying to incite violence against the first-term lawmaker.
Joining me now is Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire's editor-in-chief and author of the brand-new book, The Right Side of History, which is fantastic. Ben, now, this isn't about free speech. This is about downplaying one of the darkest days in our nation's history. Your take?
That's, of course, true, and she has a long history of not taking terrorism particularly seriously. In 2013, she did an interview in Minnesota in which she joked about people taking al-Qaeda and Hezbollah more seriously than they took America and England. And then in 2016, she wrote a letter in which she tried to have a judge be more lenient with people who tried to join ISIS, saying that, of course, these were people who only became violent because of American marginalization. And then in 2017, she wrote a column for Time magazine in which she suggested that America was rooted and founded on slavery and genocide. And in order for us not to look that in the face, instead, we focused on international terror. This is not someone who takes terrorism particularly seriously, so I am bewildered as to why quoting her would constitute some form of violation of her personage. It would be a violation of free speech or something nonsensical like that.
Ben, just so people know what we're talking about here, I want to play that soundbite that you're referencing where she talks about the way people say al-Qaeda. Let's watch.
When I was in college, I took a terrorism class. Every time the professor said Al-Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and
he's in command here.
Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah. You don't say America with an intensity. You don't say England with an intensity. You don't say the army with an intensity.
Well, and Ben, Pete Buttigieg, we talked about him earlier. He's the new star of the Democrat Party. He's edged out Beto O'Rourke, and now he's taken that spot in the spotlight. He talked today about the consequences of otherizing people like her. I thought you'd love this. Let's watch.
One of the worst things that's happening right now is otherizing people. And if we're wondering whether this has real-world consequences, look no further than what happened not long ago in New Zealand. And yes, by the way, the president demonizing Representative Omar is part of this. It's dangerous, and it's got to stop.
Otherizing, Ben.
Well, very odd, since Representative Omar has 3 times in the last 3 months been chided for openly anti-Semitic statements, and then the Democratic Party has defended her. I'm amused to watch as the Democratic Party suggests that criticism and quoting of Ilhan Omar amounts to violent incitement, where Representative Omar can say whatever Jew-hating thing she wants on a daily basis, and that is not incitement. Now, I agree, it's not incitement in either case, but to pretend that it is incitement when it's stuff you don't like, and it's not incitement when it's stuff that you do, seems pretty irresponsible at the mildest.
Ben, thank you so much. Great to have you on tonight.
So here's how it all started. Ilhan Omar made headlines after saying that the criticism she received from Donald Trump and Republicans was equivalent to inciting violence against her. Yeah, you heard that right. Simply calling her out, according to her, was the same thing as putting her life in danger. The media jumped all over it, crying foul and portraying Omar as the victim. Nancy Pelosi even asked Capitol Police to step in and review her security. But here's where Ben Shapiro came in, and let's just say, he didn't hold back. Ben didn't just react emotionally, he came with receipts. He reminded everyone that this isn't the first time Ilhan Omar has made controversial remarks about terrorism. He pointed to a 2013 clip where she literally joked about how people say Al-Qaeda with more seriousness than America. Seriously? Then he mentioned her 2016 letter asking for leniency for ISIS recruits, arguing they were victims of American marginalization. Shapiro wasn't buying any of it, and neither were millions of Americans watching. He said flat out that quoting Omar's own words is not an attack, it's accountability. Then Laura Ingraham rolled the infamous clip. Omar was in college, talking about how professors tense up when they say Al-Qaeda. Her tone was almost playful, like it was some joke. Shapiro seized on that moment, saying that kind of attitude proves she doesn't take terrorism seriously. And you could feel the air leave the room. There was no comeback, no spin that could fix it. The clip spoke for itself, but it didn't stop there. Ben Shapiro called out the Democratic double standard. Pete Buttigieg jumped in, saying Trump was otherizing Omar and that it's dangerous. But where were those same Democrats when Omar was making anti-Semitic remarks about Jews and Israel? They defended her. They covered for her. And now suddenly they act like criticism of her is violence. The hypocrisy was off the charts, and Shapiro shredded it piece by piece. At the end of it all, one thing was clear. Ben Shapiro didn't just debate Ilhan Omar's record. He exposed it. He made people realize that hiding behind identity politics doesn't erase facts. You can't call yourself a victim when your own words tell a different story. So what do you think? Was Ben Shapiro right to call her out? Or do you think the left has a point about so-called incitement? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Capital Insights for more hard-hitting political showdowns just like this one. See you in the next one.